Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to give it a few minutes just to let everyone kind of settle in and get in here. But in the meantime, if you don't mind, just in the chat section, if you don't mind just telling us where you're from, it's always good for us to know where our followers are from and who's joining us. So once again, thank you, and we'll get going here in a minute. Just want to give some time for people to get in. So sort of while we're waiting too, I just want to give a little bit of a brief overview of the format of this webinar. So I think basically what we're looking to do today is just take you through a presentation with some of the settings and the features of the apps, and we'll go into the data and stuff. Along the way, just ask any questions that you like, but remember just to please do them in the questions section. The chat feature is great, but it's much easier for us to sort of go through the questions if you can just ask them there in the question section. So then, when people are, asking questions, you can also go in there and vote on them. So if you like someone else's question, you can go in and vote, and it'll move it to the top. So I'll know to answer that for everyone. And then, I did create a poll down there too. If you get a chance throughout the session, just go check out that poll and answer it for us. And then the last thing is, if anyone wants to come on screen for me, we haven't had anyone do it yet. So if you're willing and able to come on and you'd like to, just feel free to let me know, and I'll invite you on screen. I'll give it just another minute just to let people file in. So we got a good mixture here of the United States. We got some Europe. Gainesville, Florida. I love it. I'm a Gator fan. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen here and we can get started. Actually, before I do that, I did want to take everyone through sort of a little unboxing. So I have a Mevo here, just so everyone's clear on what's in the box and what you can do with it. So this is what the Mevo will come in. It comes in a box. Easy to open here. So I'll just go through kind of what's in the box. So the first thing that you'll likely see is a quick start guide. So if you have any questions or need a reminder of setup and instructions, just open that. It's pretty nice to go through because it's quick and gives you basic instructions. And then we'll have the full manual here. So this manual is also available on FlightScopeMevo.com. So if you'd like it in a digital format, it's there as well. Or some people probably threw it away. And then we have the metallic stickers as well. So it does come with around 50 metallic stickers. So we'll get into the metallic stickers more throughout the webinar. But if you do need to order more, you can do so on either one of our websites, FlightScope.com or FlightScopeMevo.com. On FlightScopeMevo.com, you will need to sort of start your cart process as if you're buying a Mevo. So you'll just go in, you'll go through the cart process, you'll do a Mevo, you'll add the stickers, and then you go towards the end and you can just remove the Mevo and you can order the stickers. And then obviously the Mevo here comes in the box, and then the last thing is the bag. So I just wanted to make sure everyone knows what comes in the box and what you can do with it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. Okay, hopefully everyone can see that now, and if you have any issues seeing it, just let me know. Just got a message from Johan here. Hope that's better. Okay, so I'm going to start the presentation now. If you have any questions along the way, and I see we do have a bunch of questions already in there. So I'm going to go through a few slides here, and then I'll move to the questions, and we'll just sort of get started. So the first thing we wanted to do is just sort of give you a brief overview of the family. So obviously, this webinar is about the Mevo. But we do have other products. So we have the Mevo Plus, and then we have the X3. So the Mevo was really designed as a, personal practice tool for you to practice and improve your game. So Mevo is going to give 8 basic data parameters. It's going to do video, and as you move along, you're going to get more features. You're going to get more data. So Mevo Plus is going to give you 16 data parameters. It's going to also do video, and it's also going to come with E6 Connect straight out of the box. So you get 5 golf courses, practice ranges, and some more features with that. And then on the right, we have the X3, which is our top of the line model. And that one, to be honest with you, is going to do pretty much anything you can dream of. It's a pretty great technology, and it really does a lot. So yeah, just a brief overview on the family, just so everyone knows kind of what we offer. We are in some other sports as well, just so you know. We're in baseball and softball, as well as athletics and tennis. So the company is really growing, and we do a lot. So. Okay, so this is going to start the training now. So the Mevo app is available on iOS and Android. It's good to know, just so you know, that anytime you're looking for an update, you can go to the app stores just to make sure that your app is updated. For right now, for iOS, you're going to have to use iOS 11 or higher, and then you can check that, like I said, on the store. And the most updated version of the app right now is 1.6.11, and we'll get into that a little bit when we go through the settings, but I just want to sort of point that out where we're on the app store. And then for Google Play, you'll need 6.0 and up, and then the Android version you'll want is for that app is 1.4.37. So again, that's Android 1.4.37. Okay, so yeah, just some brief overviews on the features of the app. So the first one here is a really cool feature and something that I use a lot, which is the automatic video data overlay. So basically what this is going to do, and I'm sure most of you already know this, but I'll give a little brief overview. So you can basically set your phone at any angle you'd like, and we sell selfie golf clips, and we'll get to that a little bit later, but any stand or tripod or however you want to do it, you can set your phone at any angle you want. The Mevo and the app are going to basically talk to each other and automatically record and clip every video. So you can go through your entire practice session without having to touch your phone. You hit shots, it'll automatically record and clip it, and we'll get into the settings on exactly how it does that, and you can change the before and after. But this is a really cool feature because it lets you go through your practice routine without interrupting it. So you can really hone in your videos, and you can send it to coaches or your friends or share it on social media. So that's the first feature here. Let's go into the next one. So these are the data blocks. If you just want to see data, and you'll see at the top the one highlighted in red when you're going through the app. The one highlighted in red is the one that you'll want to select if you want to get to these screens. So let me just go back just so you know. So the first one is the live view there, and that's when you're recording the video. And then the second one is the review, and this is just showing the data blocks. So you can customize this. If you don't want to see 6 at a time, you can just show 1, you can do 2, however many you want to do. Most people will do 6 just because it's big enough to see there. So this is the data blocks if you're just looking for data. And then we also have the chart, so you can see right here on this example, we have all drivers, but if you were doing driver, 7-iron, pitching wedge, you'll be able to see them all here in the chart with all of your data. And if you scroll to the right, you'll be able to see the rest of the data as well. And then we have the 2D trajectory. So as most of Mevo customers probably know, the Mevo does not do horizontal. So the trajectory screen is going to be basically 2D, as you see there, and then you have your data blocks at the bottom. Okay, so let's go through some of the settings a little bit. I'm going to go from left to right here. So I'm not showing the app, but this is what you're going to see in the app. So going from left to right, the pitching, indoor, and outdoor, like you see in the top, those are the 3 basically options that you have for setup. So if you'll see underneath each option, there is a brief description of basically when you'll want to use these modes. So pitching, as you can see, use this mode when your carry will be 20 yards or less. For indoor, most of the time it's going to be when you're hitting into a net. Now, some people do, go to domes, and depending on how big the dome is, then you could use indoor. But if it's 40 yards or less, you'll want to use indoor. And just to be clear, that is indoor or outdoor. So if you're outdoor in your yard or in your garage, and you're hitting into a net, you're going to want to use indoor mode, even though you are technically outdoor. And then outdoor, self-explanatory when you're on the range. So let's move down. So distance to tee. So this is basically the Mevo distance from the unit to the golf ball. We recommend 6 to 7 feet, and we'll get into a little bit of that as we go, but that's basically where you'll change that. And you'll want to make sure that that's as close to what you actually physically have as possible. Altitude, you can set your altitude if you want to see the distances at different altitudes. And then just moving along here, so capture settings, this is where you'll change it if you want to just see data or if you want video. The display data, this is where you can change the data block. So if you select that option, then you can customize which data options you want in there, whether it's 6 blocks or 4 blocks or however you want to see it, you can customize that yourself. The measurement units, you can go from imperial to metric. And then the automatic replay is for the video settings, where it'll automatically replay once you hit a shot. So if you want to turn that on, you can. And then towards the bottom, you can see I'm going to actually move to the second phone, so the one in the middle. The camera is rear or front. So however you have your camera set up to video, then you'll want to select that. And then your frames per second, this is where you can change it to slow-mo. The slow-mo recording delay is basically you can just select the number of seconds that you want it to delay. And then, like I mentioned earlier, the pre-trigger duration. So this is basically the Mevo and the app are going to talk to each other. So you can tell it if you want it to trigger 3 seconds before and 3 seconds after. That's usually what we recommend. If you don't want to see 3 seconds before impact, then you can move that down a little bit. But we usually recommend 3 seconds before and 3 seconds after. The text-to-speech, if you want the phone to read out a specific data parameter, and it will work with headphones. So if you have your headphones in, it'll read it out if you don't want to look at your phone. And then I'll move to the last screen here. This is basically, it's mainly for support purposes. So a lot of times if you call in to ask our support team, they'll ask you to go to this screen and just check the app version and the AVR version. These are updated. So like I mentioned earlier, it's 1.6.11. And then those AVR and DSP versions are also updated for those of you who do have a Mevo. Okay, so I'm just going to go into the data a little bit now. Actually, I'm just going to pause really quick and go through some questions because I see those are building up. I know Arno has a lot of questions here, so I'm going to go through as many as I can, Arno. And just so everyone knows, we do have these questions saved. So after the session, our team will be reaching out if I don't get to the question. So Arno's first question, and this one has a lot of votes, and I'll just read it out here. It's, what is a good way of working with range balls since they give strange numbers compared to the real Titleist balls so that I still get the most out of Mevo on the range? Arno, that's a great question, and it's a little bit tough for us to answer, to be honest with you. It's range balls are difficult, and it varies from range ball to range ball, and they are very different, obviously, than a real ball. So it's really tough. And right now, there's really not much that we can do about it just because the radar is tracking the golf ball. So whatever that golf ball is doing, and obviously the internals of the golf ball, make up what it does is what we're tracking. So if the golf ball is poor, unfortunately, that's what we're going to read. And so, yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's not much you can do if you're at a range where the range ball is not quality. Okay, I'm just going to go down. So, Mike, I see your question, and just for everyone, just so we can keep this moving a little bit. If it is accuracy related, I do recommend that you just sort of get in contact with our support team, just because it's a little bit difficult, especially on a webinar, for us to go into all the environmental conditions, and there's a lot of things that can impact accuracy. So I'm going to do my best to sort of as we move through the presentation, sort of give you some tips on how to get the best accuracy. But for specific scenarios, it's best that you just kind of contact our sales or support team, and we can kind of take you through the steps and troubleshoot if we need to. Okay, Dr. Corey Thomas, I see a question here. You're just curious whether you offer a trade-in program for those who would like to upgrade to the Mevo Plus. So as of right now, just because of the backlog that we have, we are not offering that, but we will sometime this year be offering that. So when we do, just look out for a webinar, an email. It'll be on our website, our social media. So we'll definitely make it known when we start offering that. Okay, I'm going to answer a couple more here, and then I'll go back. Arno, I see a question again for the API as well. So Arno's asking, is there an API for the Mevo such that someone could develop their own game or app? So yes, we do offer that. If you'll send us an email to sales@flightscopemevo.com, just with what you're thinking, what you're looking to do. Basically, our procedure is that when we receive that email, we'll sort of evaluate it and just make sure that it's not competing with anything that we're doing. And then from there, we'll go through the process of signing an NDA, and then we'll offer our software development kit, our SDK for you to use. Okay, and then let me see, I'll answer one more. Matthew Grimson, I see your question here. What is the latest update on Mevo Plus manufacturing? So yeah, there was a couple week delay there just from a supplier, but we are back on track this week. So right now we're back at full capacity, which is great, and we'll be getting stock now pretty consistently over the next few weeks to a month before there's any more updates. So for right now, we're in a good spot. Everything depends on what's going on in the world, but we're back on track this week. Okay, so I'm going to get into the data a little bit here. So obviously these are the 8 data parameters that the Mevo provides. So I'll start from the left side, and I'm going to sort of just read out the technical description of what we define our data parameters, and we can go maybe into a little bit more detail on how you can improve those and what they affect. So club head speed, as we have it, is the speed of the geometric center of the club measured at impact. So the biggest thing with club head speed is it is measured at impact, and it's basically the speed of the golf club at the geometric center. So that's the club head speed defined. And as most of you know, club head speed is a big topic right now. One of our guys out on tour, Bryson DeChambeau, is big on this right now, and it's pretty fun to watch the gains that he's made. But club head speed, has a big impact on the next one that we're going to go into, which is ball speed. So again, I'm going to read out the technical definition of it, and then we can talk about how you can make gains with it. So as we define it, it's the launch speed of the golf ball, and pretty simple there. But ball speed does have the biggest effect on carry distance. So the centerness of impact can increase the club head speed, which will ensure a higher ball speed. So that's ball speed, and then we have your launch angle, which is vertical. Mevo does not do left or right, but Mevo Plus does. So for Mevo Plus, you'll have horizontal, but for Mevo, it's just your vertical launch angle. And it's basically the angle at which the golf ball is launched relative to the horizon of the radar. Smash factor is basically just ball speed divided by club head speed, and it's going to be basically the efficiency of your strike. So with a driver, you're going to want to look for a 1.5, and then as you go down through the bag from driver, the numbers will get lower. And we do have some documents on this if you're interested in receiving the definitions of these data parameters and smash factor guidelines and PGA Tour averages. We have all of that, so please just send us an email and we'll get that sent to you. Okay, spin rate. So technically, spin rate is the number of rotations per minute of the golf ball. So that's spin rate, and that is just backspin. So again, for Mevo, it doesn't do left and right, so that spin rate is going to be backspin. And then the last three, carry distance, is self-explanatory. So the Mevo is a limited tracking radar, so it's not going to track the ball from impact to landing, but it does track it far enough for us to give accurate data parameters. And then the last two, flight time, the time that the ball is in flight, and then the apex height. Okay, so we'll just go into some tips now, some tips for accuracy. So since we're not going to sort of get into everyone's specific setups, hopefully these will help. And we see from a support and sales standpoint that these are a lot of things that our customers run into. So hopefully this helps you. So this first screen here, so we went over the settings a little bit where you can select outdoor, indoor, and pitching. And so basically wherever you're located, we recommend 6 to 7 feet from the golf ball to the radar. So if you are having if you do have some higher club head speeds, you'll want to try to move it back to 7 feet. And then as you go down in the bag, maybe try 6. So you can kind of mess around with this and see, what works best for your swing. But around that 6 to 7 feet from the golf ball is optimal. And then like we talked about earlier, outdoor, indoor, and pitching, just based on how much ball flight you have. So this is a very important one because we don't want anything in front of the Mevo unit impacting the reading. So if one of your buddies is standing in front, or anything basically is in front from the radar to the golf ball, you would just want to make sure that gets out of the way, just to keep the signals clear for the radar. This is another important one, and something that we see a lot just because everyone has different setups. So it's very important to make sure that for one, the Mevo is level. So make sure that it's sitting on the ground and that it's as level with the golf ball as possible. A lot of times especially when you're on the range or in your yard, in your grass, if you have the Mevo and it's sitting down a little bit, obviously the tilt is going to be a little messed up, but it's also going to be sitting lower than the golf ball. So, people have come up with creative things, but whatever you can do to make sure that the radar is as close to on the same level as the golf ball is going to help with the accuracy a lot. Some people will use a little box or a little platform just to make sure that it is, especially if you're on a mat or whatever your setup is, it is important to have it on the same level. Okay, and this one is important for indoor setups. The graphics sort of does a good job of explaining it, but just make sure that, for lighting purposes, fluorescent lighting can affect the radar. So you want to just check on that. If you're getting misreads or any inaccuracies in the data, just check the lighting for indoors. And then any fans or other signals like a TV that are sort of in front or in view of the radar and the golf ball can definitely affect it. It's not always going to happen. So, but if you do have the ability to sort of move your TV or fan out of the way of the radar, that would be best. Okay, and this is definitely one that we get a lot. So the metallic sticker, just to be clear, is only required for indoor use. So you don't have to use it outdoors. And it is important just to make sure that metallic sticker is facing the screen. So there's a couple of reasons for that. We don't have to get too far into it, but the number one is just so you're not making impact with the sticker. Obviously, people want those stickers to stay on the ball, so you don't have to put one on every single time you hit a golf shot. So that's one, and important one for the radar as well, to just get the most accurate readings when the metallic sticker is facing the net of the screen. Okay, I won't go too much into this. This is also in your manual, but just make sure that you're using the cable that the Mevo comes with, and everyone, you can buy those from us if you lost yours or whatever, but just make sure that you're using that cable. Sorry, give me one sec. Okay. Okay, so these are the indicators on the top right. The battery ones are important, obviously. So the flashing fast, you'll see over there, if it's flashing fast, you're at about 1 to 15%. And then the second one there is in between 15 and 70%. And then if they're all blue, then the battery is going to be about 70 to 100%. I'm going to go ahead and just answer a few more questions here. Okay, so Andrew is asking, what is the best way to set up when hitting into a net? So, Andrew, I'm not exactly sure what specifics you're looking for, but what you want to do is make sure that you have at least 8 feet of ball flight. So that's the one thing to check. The other thing is make sure you have at least 6 to 7 feet behind the golf ball. So if you have a net, and you're in your garage, just make sure that you have those minimum requirements. And then after that, I mean, it's up to you. You know, people have different setups. They buy screens, they have nets. However, you know, you want to do it best. Some people will show it on a TV. Some people will just see their iPad. Some people want to go all in and get the projector. We have one in our studio. So the rest is up to you, but the minimum requirements and just making sure that there's nothing in the room like the fans and TV that we spoke about that's impacting it. Okay, I'm going to answer a couple more. I'm just trying to get to one now. Okay, Dr. Corey Thomas, I think that I might have answered this, but I just want to make sure that everyone's on the same page. So what iOS is required? I have an old iPad that I wanted to use solely with my Mevo and it would connect, but then I hit a shot, the app simply closes. Okay, so yeah, you will want iOS 11 or higher. So just make sure that you do have that. And then if you do have that and it's still giving you issues, please give our support team a call or send us an email. Okay, Dale is asking, when I used to create videos to send to my coach, the lines I drew would show up, but lately they don't. Can you tell me what to do to get those lines back? Yeah, Dale, that's strange. That feature is still working. So like I mentioned to Dr. Corey, if you just want to give us a call or send us an email, we can walk you through that. Hassan, I hope I'm saying that correct, has a question here. In the outdoor mode, does the Mevo track the ball flight till the end? So the answer to that is no. The Mevo and the Mevo Plus both are not full tracking radars like the X3 is. So the X3 will track the ball from impact to landing, whereas the Mevo Plus are limited flight tracking. So they're going to track it a certain distance, and then we're going to calculate the rest. That distance is proprietary, so we don't communicate that, but it does track it far enough for us to give accurate data. Okay, another question here from Arnold. Does the altitude of a few meters affect the results much, or is it only significant hundreds of meters? Yeah, Arno, a few meters probably isn't going to affect it that much. Now, if you go into the hundreds and the thousands, then it will start affecting it more. But if it's just a few meters, it won't affect it that much. Matthew Grimson is asking, love the automatic video clipping, but why no sound? So that is a good question, and I'm not sure if our app developers are on this, but if they aren't, we have your question saved here, so we'll ask them that. But that's a good question. It would be nice to show impact and be able to hear it. Gregory also has a good question. Is there a view that shows all data points? So the answer to that is no. And the main reason is just because on the phone, so the Mevo Golf app was designed, first of all, to be on a phone. And if you have 8 data parameters, it gets a little busy. So we did decide to make it 6. Chad is asking, do you need the metallic stickers for outdoor into a net? Yes, that is required. So anytime you're hitting into a net, you'll want to treat it like an indoor setting, even if you are outdoors. So just make sure that the metallic sticker is on the ball and it's facing the net. Eduardo, I see your question here. I hope I just answered that, but his question is set up in a terrace with ceiling is outdoor or indoor? I get inconsistent reading in both setup modes. So it should be indoor. Again, just check to make sure you have that metallic sticker. Make sure that you have 8 feet of ball flight, and then make sure you have 6 to 7 feet behind the ball. And then lastly, please make sure that it is level with the golf ball as much as possible. Okay, so I'm going to finish up the presentation here, and then we can go back to some questions. We did have some people submit questions before the webinar started as well, so I'll try to answer a couple of those just on the ones that I haven't gotten to yet. But just wanted to show you here. So this is what I mentioned earlier, the selfie golf. If you don't have a clip for the video, we do sell these on our website. So just go to FlightScopeMevo.com. It's pretty cool. If you have alignment rods, you can just hook it up to an alignment rod in your golf bag, and it clips onto your phone like you see there in the picture, and it's pretty nice. They're relatively cheap too. I believe they're like $30. You can buy those right on our store. And then just a reminder for anyone, anyone that wants to purchase a unit or more information, we have a frequently asked questions section on the website. We have our manuals on the website, add-ons like the metallic stickers and the selfie golf. So anyone that wants more information or wants to order, FlightScopeMevo.com, and this is what you'll see our 2 guys there. Bryson is a little bit bigger now, so we need to look into updating that for sure. And then, yeah, I mentioned support a few times in this one. So our support number there, and those can be found on our website as well. But it's, we're in Orlando, so it's 407-412-9400, and then support@FlightScopeMevo.com. We have great hours, so feel free to give us a call anytime. If we don't answer, you're welcome to leave a voicemail or send us an email, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Okay, I'm going to answer a few more questions. Let's see if there's any new ones here. So Craig is asking, if the Mevo or the Plus is a little below the ball, does it result in measured carry being less than it should be or more than it should be? What parameters are affected? Yes, so that depends on a few things. The strike is important, but yeah, you'll definitely want to make sure that it's as level as possible, because the radar, the Mevo and the Mevo Plus, obviously the radars are a lot smaller, so it is very important to have it set up as accurately as possible. Okay, I'm going to just answer a couple more questions here that we had before. Let me just look through some of these. It looks like most of these have been answered. There is one question here about putting. The Mevo does not do putting. Mevo Plus does do putting, but only in simulation. If you're looking for putting practice, basically, you'll want to go to the X3, which is the only one that does actual short game putting. Okay, well, thank you all for joining. If you have any other questions, please feel free to call or email us. If we didn't get to your questions, we do have them saved, and our team will be reaching out within the next day or two just with the answer to your question and asking if you need any other questions. So thank you again for joining, and please let us know if you need anything.